Hey guys, I could not be more excited about how this reading year is going for me. I have already read 19 books, and most of them were really amazing. And I want to do a quick wrap up of the first quarter and tell you my top 5 books that I enjoyed the most. We'll see how many of them end up on my top 10 list at the end of the year, but I would not be shocked if a lot of them made it. Maybe all of them. They were incredible. Let's get right into it. So, first book I want to mention is A Time of Changes by Robert Silverberg. This was the first Silverberg that I read, and surely it will not be the last one. Let me know if you've read Silverberg in the past. What are your thoughts on his work? I was really blown away by the quality of writing. There are lots of threads in A Time of Changes, but the main one has to do with a society, a future society that has really given up, outlawed essentially personal identity to the point that humans are unable to say I. And this of course causes some interesting societal shifts, changes, problems. And the book was a fascinating sociological treatment of how those changes would affect the human psyche, but also a slow change takes place in our main character as he discovers that being able to express himself is a beautiful thing, and in fact allows you to connect with others and find true love. Yes, on this planet, they're unable to say, I love you, because they can't say I. So it was a very interesting, beautifully written book that I enjoyed quite a bit. It's on my list of top 5 for the year. Another one clearly on this list. Oh my gosh, and believe it or not, this author is going to make an appearance twice. All the Pretty Horses I just finished recently. It's the last book that I finished, and I really loved it. It was beautiful, it was touching, it was sensitive. Cormac McCarthy wrote this book with such incredible level of understanding of the time that he's writing and the place. Southern part of Texas and then northern part of Mexico is painted beautifully. You just feel authenticity beaming off the pages as you're reading this book. The conversation seems so authentic, so real. You are transported to that place. And on top of this incredible world building, incredible historical artifact that this book is, you have a story that is really gripping, at times powerful, at times difficult to read. There is a beautiful love story in it. This book has so much packed into a fairly short reading experience, beginning till end, fabulous. Maybe the very beginning was slightly slow for me as it's setting up this journey, but once the journey begins, incredible. The characters are fascinating. The people, the use of Spanish language. I do not speak Spanish. I took Duolingo for a bit just on my phone, so I'm okay, but I never took Spanish in high school. I wish I did. I took Italian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Anyway, that's all I remember from my Italian class. I took Italian because I kind of had a crush on the Italian teacher. So anyway, forget about that. I digress. All the Pretty Horses, Cormac McCarthy, stunning, beautiful, lyrical, but strong, typical McCarthy prose that I really enjoyed. In his other book that I read, first book I read this year, I believe it was the first one, was The Road. And oh my God, that book blew me away. I had tears in my eyes at the end. The Road was stunning, completely different feel The Road has than all the Pretty Horses, but at the same time, just as powerful. Different story. I don't know if that book is going to appeal, meaning if you love all the Pretty Horses, you may not actually love The Road, but you should read them both. The Road is such a stark vision of a post-apocalyptic future, beautifully told. I loved reading it as much as I was, reading it with kind of a trepidation of what's going to happen to these protagonists with whom I really connected in that book. Being a father, I just imagine myself in that role of a protector in this world that is impossible. You know that there are things lurking, all kinds of problems around the corner. Beautiful, beautiful book, beautiful book. So that's another one that I really enjoyed. So that's 3 books already. Book number 4, Simon Jimenez, The Vanished Birds. We're going back to science fiction. We got away from sci-fi for just a bit with all the pretty horses. The Road, of course, is a dystopian science fiction. Vanishing Birds, proper sci-fi, epic in its scope, and again, interesting writing, beautiful prose. Simon Jimenez, young author, he's 35. The Vanished Birds was his first book that he published, his debut, and what a stunning, in my opinion, debut it is. It's a grand story. It really develops. There's got frame narratives that work really well in this case. The story is complex. We have a woman who's kind of outside of time. She's a captain on this ship. She travels between planets, between stars. And as she does, right, people on these planets age at a different rhythm than she does. This is beautifully shown in the beginning of the story, especially as she connects with a man on one planet that she returns to every 15 years for them. But for her, it's been like 10 months or something. Super interesting story. It really gets going once we meet this boy who fell to earth, essentially. And this boy could change the fate of humanity, has this power to really change the way humans will live and the way they'll travel through these distances, possibly. But she loves this book and she just wants to protect him. I don't want to give out any spoilers about this book, but it's beautiful, beautifully written. Not for everyone, probably, but you should check it out if you're a fan of science fiction and if you're a fan of really well-written prose that connects some good ideas. I mean, there maybe isn't anything super original, but I think the way it's put together, all these elements, there is an original story here. And also it's just beautifully written book. The prose is at times flowy, at times musical. There is actually a lot about music itself. Music is the connective tissue that this story really kind of, that binds this story together, that keeps everything from kind of falling apart in its big scope. And it's beautiful. Simon Jimenez is an author that I will be reading everything he writes. The Spear Cuts Through Water is his next book. I'm gonna pick it up probably later this year. I'm hoping to get to it. But yeah, amazing. Now, number 1, I don't know if I'm really ranking these necessarily, but the number 5, let's say, book on this list, Hyperion / Fall of Hyperion. I read them both because I was rereading Hyperion beginning of the year to read Fall of Hyperion, and I loved both of them. I loved Hyperion a couple of years ago when I read it for the first time, of course, but I didn't continue right away. So I reread it and read the Fall of Hyperion right after, and holy shit, was it excellent. What a story. Hyperion has the frame narrative that everyone probably has heard about. I don't need to get into it too much, but it's Canterbury style, where these pilgrims to the planet of Hyperion are giving their reason for being there, their backstory, and each story to me, maybe except for one, mind-blowing, incredible. The priest story, the scholar story, just beautiful. I really loved Hyperion, but the Fall of Hyperion essentially feels like it's the same book. The frame narrative is dropped at the right point because now we're in the present and all kinds of hell breaks loose, and it's fabulous. I loved it. I know some people don't love Fall of Hyperion. You're crazy if you don't love it. It's amazing. What a story, what a vision of, this conflict. Oh, just incredible stuff. So many things in this story that are mind-blowing and incredible, and also characters that you connect with, and good writing. Dan Simmons, I think, can write really well, and I'm looking forward to reading more of his stuff later on this year. And I do have a bonus. I gave you 5 already, but I have a bonus, and it's right here. The drawing of 3. I'm like 3/4 through the book already. And I'm loving this. Holy shit, this is mind-blowing. Stephen King, this is book 2 in the Dark Tower. I read Gunslinger earlier this year, and I was like, okay, I get it. It's interesting. It's setting up the world, but I didn't love it. But here, oh my God. I mean, this is Stephen King at his best. I'm really loving this book, and now I'm hooked. Now I'm hooked on this Dark Tower journey, and I'm gonna go through it probably till the end. I know these books can be one good one, not as good from what I've been reading, but this is incredible. So, and now reading this book also, I have a totally different view of book one, Gunslinger, because as I was reading it, I was just like a little bit confused at times, having read most of book two, The Drawing of the Three. Now Gunslinger actually has risen in my estimation of its quality. So I'm loving Stephen King. I'm loving The Dark Tower now, but I haven't finished it, so I'm not putting it among the top 5. So this is a bonus top 6. 19 books read so far this year. I could have named other books as my favorites. I have a list here. I mean, there are so many others that I really, really enjoyed. Ice. Oh my gosh, that was so good. To Be Thought If Fortunate was excellent. There were so many good books. The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, of course, was great. There's just been so much. There's been so much good stuff. I'm so excited about this reading year. Can you tell? I'm always pretty excited when it comes to reading, but this beginning of the year has been spectacular, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this at this pace. Read a lot, read good books. The next thing, when I finish this, I'm gonna be reading The Inverted World by Christopher Priest with Robin from Bookspin. We're doing a buddy read. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So it's just been a great fun reading these books, good stuff. Guards also, I forgot, by Terry Pratchett. I'm not putting it in the top 5, but oh my gosh, I had such a blast reading that book. Laugh out loud funny. It's just been a crazy year so far. Let me know your thoughts on some of the books that I've read, or let me know what your favorite books of the year so far are. I cannot wait to read your comments, to respond to them. I'm loving this year so far. It's going great. I'll talk to you soon.